Alright, what's going on guys? Goonzig here and welcome to another video here on the channel. In this one guys, we are going to be going over my 5 quick tips to get you guys into motocross. So guys, as most of you may know, and if you don't know, I have been into motocross for years on years. I started way back when my dad got me into the sport, back when I was like 4 or like 6, like really young. I wasn't over the age of like 7, right? Like it was like way back there, 4, 5, or 6, in and around there. So I got on the dirt bike as soon as I could ride a bicycle without training wheels. That was the deal. So I have been in the sport for a minute, and I wouldn't say that like I'm the fastest guy out there. I'm not like the crazy fast guy that you see at the track just scrubbing everything, but I definitely have the experience, right? When you've been doing it for so long, you definitely know like what to do, what not to do, and I have the experience. If I dedicated myself, guys, and I guess that's what everyone says, right? If you dedicate yourself to something, you could get good at it. So if I could just go and sit there and race and ride all day, every day, eventually I would be able to pick up on every little thing and have, you know, that speed. Practice does make perfect. But anyways guys, that's besides the fact. Let's get into what I want to talk about in this video. So how do you actually get into the sport? Now I had it pretty easy when my dad brought me into the sport, right? So he grew up and he was in the sport, and he had a passion for moto, so that kind of just passed on to me, right? Me and my brother, he got me and my brother into the sport. Now, if you don't have a background in moto, if you don't have any links to moto at all, what are you gonna do? Well, obviously guys, if you are looking up this video, you do have an interest in moto, so you kind of already know about the scene. You probably already know, you know, what dirt bikes are. You know, most people ride at tracks or in trails, and there's kind of different scenes or different categories of the motocross world, right? Like there's enduro and just tons of different categories you can branch off into. But I think the tips here are going to kind of apply to every category, no matter what kind of racing or riding you're looking at doing. Whether you just want to be a casual rider, or if eventually you want to go and be a racer. So with all the babbling out of the way, I love to do that in my videos. I love to just sit here and talk. But with all of that nonsense out of the way, that was kind of the introduction. Let's get into my 5 tips. Whew. I don't know if it's allergies or what, guys, but my eyes have been burning all day. I was recording some Rainbow Six Siege earlier, and like same thing, I was sitting in my room and my eyes just started burning. But okay, here we go guys. Tip number 1, and this is gonna be like the most important tip. Get a bike and some gear. Most people just probably think, you know, hey, I'm gonna run out and buy a bike. Get the gear with it. You know, you want to be fully prepared before you go out and start riding. You want to have your bike, of course. And guys, when I say go out and buy a bike that you can afford, but also make sure it's going to be worth the purchase. You don't want to buy a bike that you're going to have to be putting like thousands and thousands of dollars into every time you want to go ride it. You don't want to buy a bike where you go and buy it, and the first time you ride it, something happens, so you fix that, and then the next time you ride it, something happens, so you fix that, and then the next time you ride it, something happens, and it's just an ongoing cycle of money. So guys, be smart about it, but pick up a bike. And like, I'm not saying go out and buy a brand new bike. I've never even had a brand new bike, other than like a 65, I think I had a brand new 65, but I'm saying like buy a reliable bike, one you can trust, and it may not even be like the best looking, but like buy a bike that is reliable, like build wise, quality wise. You don't want a bike that's like falling apart and blowing up and just clapped out. Buy a bike that can withstand your use, right? Like you want to be able to use it. So get your bike and then get some gear. I would recommend, honestly, if you're not gonna go out and buy like full out jersey, boots, gear, everything, the essentials that you're gonna want are your helmet, your goggles, your gloves, and your boots. And also guys, I would recommend getting a chest protector for your chest, a neck brace in case you fall. You know, you don't want that whiplash, but a lot of people choose not to run neck braces. That's the story for a whole nother video, man. Like I personally would run a neck brace, and like jerseys and pants and everything, knee braces or knee pads, some form of knee protection is like a must, man. If you fall on your knees, it is going to hurt. So tip number one, guys, tip number one is just get all of the essential equipment, your bike and your gear. So tip number two would be to start small and to not rush things. Take time to learn about the sport and about motocross. You know, you don't want to just go grab your bike, throw on your gear, hop out there and start trying to huck like the biggest jumps on the track and trying to go as fast as you can. You want to start small. You really do, because if you get out there and you ride above your skill level, you're gonna end up getting hurt. That's how you get hurt. Take this for example. You get out there on the track, it's your first day at the track, and there's a huge double. You're not sure, you know, how a bike jumps at all. So you're at the track, you're just trying to learn how to ride for like the first time in your life, yet you want to hit a big jump. So you don't even really know the basics of riding yet you want to go and hit some of the big jumps on the track. It's just not smart, it's not logical, and you want to be smart on the track. So guys, when you first get your bike, take time to learn the bike, learn the basics of moto. You know, if you're just getting into the sport, take time to work on your corners. The jumps are for show, the corners are for dough. So learn how to, you know, hit a corner, rail a rut, you know, and maybe start off with like tabletops or something, and instead of jumping the whole thing and just holding it pinned, you know, kind of work your way up to making the jump. You don't want to just get out there and hold it pinned the entire time, because that's how you're gonna get hurt if you're not at that skill level. If you're at that skill level, man, hold or yoked, but we'll get into that at the end of the video. So that's tip number two. Like, take your time with it. Don't rush things, because that's how you get hurt. And you know, if you're out there at the track with your buddies, I've been there, where your buddies are doing something that you're not. If you're not comfortable doing it, if you're not ready to do it, don't do it just because your friends are doing it. You know, say you go out to a track and your friends are hitting a jump and you're like, man, I want to hit that jump because Jimmy's hitting it, and then you go and do it. But if you're not ready, you might get hurt. If you're capable, send it, man. Like, all the power is to you, but just know that you should take it slow, don't rush things, and if you think you're ready, that's when you can send it. But okay, tip number three, guys. That was tip number two. Tip number three is to talk to people, get lessons, get all the tips that you can, and just learn as much as you can. Get all of the helpful information that you can. By this, I don't mean, you know, go and pay for lessons. I just mean, you know, talk to your friends, talk to people at the track, you know, get any tips that you can. If they give you pointers, try out those pointers on the track. Just, you know, talk to people, figure out where the local tracks are, what cool places to ride are, and just kind of how the whole moto scene in your area is. You really want to get an idea for that, because here, like, if you go to a certain track on like a weekend, it's packed full of like people that are ready to shred. They're out there just holding or yoked, and they do divide it up into groups and stuff. But here, if it's your first time ever riding, you're getting stuck on a track with people that are hitting all these jumps and flying past you, and it can be nerve-wracking. It really can be nerve-wracking getting out there. So if you have any friends in the sport, you know, talk to them and kind of learn and get some information from them before jumping right into it and hitting up a track, you know, because certain tracks are better for beginners, and you really just want to have that knowledge before hopping in and sending it to a track, paying to ride, and then not enjoying it, right? Maybe it would be worth it to hit up a track that was 5 minutes down the road that way, rather than going to the jumpy track that's this way, right? So just talk to people, get a lot of information, you know, get tips and lessons from people. And like I said, I don't mean go and pay for a lesson. I mean, you know, if your buddy Bob is willing to just sit down with you and kind of talk about corners and jumps and stuff, and like willing to watch you ride for a bit and just kind of give you pointers on what you're doing, a lot of people will actually do that. Like, a lot of people won't be like, yeah, give me $5 for that or something, right? Like, we ain't no stingy guys like that. Like, I'm sure there are some people out there like that, but honestly, a lot of people in the moto community are pretty chill. So just talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people, get familiar with the community in your area and the sport in your area, and that's just one way to kind of build on your motocross scene. I don't know, your motocross knowledge base. And when you get more knowledge, you'll know about more tracks and you'll be able to have more fun with the sport. You know, you'll be able to know about trails, tracks, this, that, all the good stuff that you guys want. Now, moving on to tip number 4, I guess it kind of goes along with tip number 3 there, is learn the trails, learn the track, learn the area. So say you go to a new track or track and trails. Take this for example, up at Moto Park, there are tracks, there are trails. So you have both worlds there, right? Tracks and trails. And I do a little bit of both, you know, I'll go and ride the track and I'll go and ride the trails. And when I hop into the trails, I don't just hold it wide open, you know, I don't go full out. I'm really not 100% familiar with those trails, so you have to be smart about it. You can't just jump in and go wide open in the trails because like I said earlier, that's how you get hurt. On the track, of course, I can jump on the track and go pretty good just because I know the track. I've learned the track. And once you learn a track or learn the trails and you have like, it's almost like memory, right? Like it goes right in your memory. Like I know how much gas I need to give it to hit this jump, how much gas I need to hit this jump, right? Like I know how fast I need to go to do certain obstacles on that track. So take some time, learn the area, learn the track, and I think that would be really helpful, you know, throughout your motocross career. And with that being said, it kind of ties into taking it slow. As you learn more jumps and stuff, it's you learning the area. So all of these tips are kind of like tying in together. And the general idea of it is to take it slow and kind of just ease into it, right? You don't want to jump from like being a straight goon all the way up to trying to hit the expert level jumps because that's how you're gonna get hurt. Now going on to tip number 5, guys, once you've got your bike in your gear, once you've went ahead and started slow, worked your way up, once you've talked to a bunch of people, and once you've learned the area, learned the tracks, learned the trails, and learned everywhere you can go shred, what you're gonna wanna do for tip number 5 is get out there and friggin' shred. Hold her wide open, guys, because you are ready to get out there and hold her wide open like Ricky Carmichael. But yeah, so pretty much, guys, that's all I have to say for this video. It went on a lot longer than I expected, but like I said, I love the talk. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Those are my 5 tips for getting into motocross. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash that thumbs up, guys. It would be much appreciated, and hit that subscribe button for more content. So just a quick recap before we end off the video. My 5 tips, guys, let's go through the list. We have number 1, get your bike in your gear. Number 2, start small, do not rush things. Tip number 3, you want to talk to people, get lessons, gain all the information that you can about the track and everything and about riding. And if anyone's willing to, you know, help you out with your riding, you know, don't refuse help, right? Like if someone's willing to sit there and help you out, don't refuse it, guys. Any help is appreciated. Trust me on that one. It's step number 4, or tip number 4, is to learn the area, and that kind of comes with all of them, I guess. Like as you get into moto, you're gonna learn the area, you're gonna learn the tracks, you're gonna learn the trails, you're gonna learn what you like about certain tracks, you're gonna learn what you don't like about certain tracks, like braking bumps at Moto Park, blah, 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 blah. Hate it, man, I hate it. But number 5, tip number 5, guys, is just to get out there and shred. Peace out.
I promise I won't put in the music before my sanity. Saying you will lullaby with alliteration and empathy. The lack of recognition is starting to fuel my energy. You know you made it when you receiving hate from an enemy. Your relevance was never an option. Here's a synopsis, said I'm knocking out whoever you considering the king. I kick him off the throne I wanted. I'ma take it as my property and properly prepare to go to war with any challenge. A battling kind of singers, people champ for me to finish it. Reminiscent of the legends that left remarkable legacies.